On today's episode, we talk about healthy date night alternatives for Valentine's Day. Hi, I'm Brooke Lyons. A few years ago, I lost 50 pounds and finally got my life back. I've uncovered the tools that allowed me to keep the weight off and help hundreds of my clients also lead a healthy and vibrant life. Losing weight is only the beginning, and being happy and healthy is so much more than just a number on the scale. So join me as we discover how to thrive beyond weight loss. Welcome back to Thrive Beyond Weight Loss. I'm Dr. Brooke Lyons.
And I'm Victoria Lyons.
And one of the things that we always talk about is how do you live your life doing your best job during the holidays? And Valentine's Day is today, probably. Mm-hmm. It's set up to release today on Valentine's Day. So we just wanted to talk about that for a little bit because, if we can talk about things before they happen, then we have this feeling of success, right? We're going in with a plan. How close we follow the plan is, here or there sometimes. So that's what we wanted to talk about today.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed, and you can tell me if you notice this too, is that all of our date nights and special things revolve around food.
Yeah. Because it's the easiest thing to go to. Everyone's always hungry. Yeah. You always need to eat. So
3 times a day, I always say. Yeah, and I'm a poet and I know it. When we're thinking about what's going on for Valentine's Day, what are your habits? Because those traditions are great because they are repeatable and they feel good because we did it again. But sometimes the habits and the things that we've been doing are not creating success in our body.
Yeah.
And that means they're not really creating success in our life because if our body isn't healthy, then our relationships aren't healthy either.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to date nights, usually you go to someplace you wouldn't usually go if you're just going to quick grab dinner. You're going to order something that may be more expensive or maybe something you wouldn't usually eat. Get wine or drinks and all of that, which
dessert.
Is always, yes,
dessert. At least we eat dessert at last, so at least you've got some food in your body to hold some of that sugar down. But it's true, and we don't, it's treats. We're not dogs. Like, we don't need a treat, but we get into this mindset of, like, it's a treat. Like, it's Valentine's Day. It makes me feel good, and it makes us feel good because of the sugar. It elevates our system, but then we crash. That doesn't feel good.
I would say, everyone loves a treat, but it's a trend nowadays that if anything happens, you have a bad day. I just need a little treat to get through the day, like a little sweet treat. So it's a trend, especially with my generation, that
it's not
whether
just
that's your coffee,
coffee,
but it's all over social media. They're like, I just need one sweet treat a day, and so whether they're buying that and like going out and buying that, or whether that's their coffee, like we talked about last episode.
I was a professional cheerleader for the CFL, so it's a little different, but we were the dancers on the field. And our choreographer, Anne, is always, you have to meet weight because, and I'm 5'8", so I had really big hair. One day maybe we'll share. Oh,
it was good.
Huge. But because the bigger the hair, the smaller the butt. It's just a thing. So, but I'm 5'8", and I was like dancing with girls who were 5'2". Well, their butts this big. Mine was normal for me, and I looked slender, and I was healthy. But that is also when I developed a fast food habit because I was so busy, but my body was young, so I could get away with that. But that treat every day, I mean, only in the last 6 months, I'll say, have I been able to knock that. And I've lost my weight and kept it off for over 2 years now. But that one thing, that one fast food, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's always been a problem.
Yeah.
You guys know. As kids, I would drive them through this fast food and I'd be like, hey, it's pickle time. Seriously.
I was told that at the certain fast food place that kids were only allowed to have pickles. I didn't even know a kid's meal was a thing. But I was so excited for those pickles.
I mean, so yay, you were excited for the pickles. I was trying to not have them addicted like I was.
Yeah.
We used to call it adult food. brownies.
Yes.
I used to call brownies adult food. They didn't know they could eat brownies. Oh, the ways we mess up our kids. But it kind of worked.
I wouldn't say I messed up, but
Thank you.
yeah, was a
Thank
little
you for your
upset when
grace.
everyone brought cupcakes for their birthdays in elementary school and I brought a fruit and veggie platter, but we got past it.
Well, they ate it.
Oh, they loved it.
Yeah,
Every
so-
second of it. Yeah.
We used to even serve vegetables when we have a pool and the kids would come over and that's all I really had was vegetables. They would eat it. It's funny. I even had some parents like come pick them up and I always try to tell the parents like, oh, this is what we ate so that they know like what went in their kids. And they're like, my child ate vegetables? And I'm like, yeah, it's all we had, but they'll eat it. So
Yeah.
But this is the thing with the holidays or like Valentine's Day. We get into these patterns and we think like every year we go to this. Do you know wherever you go and whatever you do, you can make different choices. You could keep the same restaurant.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of how to word that. Would you say that, and for some people and to a certain extent, Valentine's Day specifically and certain other events, you kind of get into your habits of, oh, we go here, and it kind of becomes a pattern of habit instead of being present with your partner and celebrating, oh, this is, whether it's a Hallmark holiday or not, Valentine's Day, and just kind of being present rather than focusing, oh, we have to go here, this is where we go every year.
I guess it's individualized.
Okay.
Everybody has. Your dad and I just don't do the same thing every year. But the restaurants we would go to would have food that he likes to eat and I do. But no matter how we were eating before, fruit, vegetable, meat, and healthy fat, that's the nutrients our body needs. And so you can pick that on. I mean, we have access to a lot of small town restaurants, like in little tiny towns that we just family are there. And I've never had a problem eating on program. It just doesn't look the same as I would make it at home.
Yeah.
But so I think you could do that no matter where you go.
What would you say to someone who is maybe a little nervous to go into a restaurant, kind of make those modifications to something on the menu? They feel like they're going to be either judged or it's not going to want, because that's something I feel like people are scared. Even if I want to take something off a burger, sometimes I feel nervous to do that.
Right.
So what would you say to that person?
I would just say, like, when we know what we want, it makes it so much easier to make a plan and move towards that. And then, we don't have to be rude about it. Like, I don't want this. Like, I always kind of do this flippy thing, right? I'm like, I'm not eating that. Like, we don't have to act like that. We can just be like, and you know what I will say, because I've been doing this, we go to a lot of supper clubs. It's a thing in Wisconsin where you go.
They're blowing up.
Oh,
everyone's like, what's a supper club
fantastic.
in Wisconsin?
We love them. And it's a good family feel, too. So you go out with your friends and not necessarily family, but we have a kind of a club, I guess you'd call it. We, like, with our friends, we always go to these things. But anyway, they've got a giant salad bar, but you don't start at the salad bar. You start at the bar. So that's like, I walk in and they want to give me sugar, pure sugar that I'm going to drink. And it's delicious and we love them, especially the old fashions and stuff like that, Bloody Marys. But our body cannot do that.
Yes.
It can, but it will inflame and it will cause things that don't feel good in our bodies.
Yeah.
So it's just about like kind of going in knowing I'm not going to drink alcohol off the bat. Like I need something in my stomach. Like we used to do it when we were young in college. You never go partying without something in your stomach. You know
You
what
shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
We did. We all. Well,
shouldn't.
lots of us did. I shouldn't say all. So I think when we're saying like I want to be healthier, I want to feel better in this relationship, then like we're not like just saying I want to be skinny and I want to like have these superficial things.
Yeah.
I want depth in my relationship. I want to go out with your dad and I want to be like present for him and I want to have conversations that matter to us. And I don't want to always be like triggered.
Yeah.
Because if I don't feel good and I'm tired and I've been rushing around.
Hangry.
Well, I don't get hangry, really. I really don't. Neither does he anymore, interestingly. I don't know if that's because we got older and it doesn't happen anymore. I guess I don't know. Let us know what you have, your experience with
special.
hangry. We are special. But we, things change. And but I want that presence in all of my relationships. And if I don't feel good or I'm too tired because I've been rushing around doing all the things for everybody else for Valentine's Day, and then I get to the end of the night and I'm not present with the person I love the most and want to stay with, that's not going to work well for me.
Yeah. Another thing that I feel like is a good question is, so with people who have children and Valentine's Day, I don't know if they still do this, but you make the boxes for your, like at the kids' school, they make their boxes and you give everyone Valentine's. What is maybe, because I feel like healthy eating is kind of a whole family thing. You don't want to be the only one doing it. So what are some suggestions you would give to someone who maybe doesn't want to send their kids to school with cookies and lollipops, or even if they come home with that, kind of a way to kind of deal with all of that sugar that's coming in?
My mind is exploding. I know you can't see it, but it is. There is so much in this. Valentine's is a day that we usually get a lot of candy and a lot of things that we don't want to eat. Do you remember when you guys were little, we used to go to the parades all the time?
Yeah.
Like when there was parades, I didn't want to not have my kids go to the parades and have fun and things, but I didn't also want them eating all the candy. But it's so fun for the littles to have their bag and like pick up all the candy. Remember what we used to do with that?
Part of me wants to say that we would keep it for gingerbread houses.
That's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
We had a big box in one of our closets, and I'd be like, time to put your stuff in the box. My son would find, what are the brown ones called?
Tootsie Rolls.
Are they Tootsie Rolls? I feel like
The
that's
brown
the
log
Canadian
looking
word.
things?
Yeah.
Nope, Tootsie Rolls.
Tootsie Rolls,
It's the name
okay.
of the company.
So he would be obsessed with finding and grabbing all the Tootsie Rolls because they made good log cabins or like fire pits. He was challenged with finding the things he wanted.
I had no idea that was why.
That's why, because I didn't want you guys to eat that stuff.
Yeah.
So things are coming out. So that's why, because it was craft supplies. I don't want to dishonor somebody who's paid money for something that they think is special. I just didn't want it to go on in our bodies. And so those are some of the fun things we did with it. I didn't want, like in the honor of what they did, I didn't want to just throw it out. You can do that too. I know lots of people have exchanges. Like they'll do an exchange for like, hey, give me all your candy and I'll give you $20 or something.
Yeah.
And we'll go shopping for Legos or whatever. I think we've done that actually. We've gone shopping with some money. We've done that too. So I think it's just finding out what you really want. What's the purpose in what you're doing here? Because if you know you want to be happier and healthier, when you go out for dinner, you're like, you know what? That is still my goal. You know, if you went to the dentist tomorrow and you had a cavity, would you stop brushing your teeth?
No.
Like I say that to some people and they're like, no.
Yeah.
But
It's a mindset.
It is.
Yeah.
We give that up for our body, which is the thing we're going to die from every day. You know, we feel like we need that treat. Oh, it's just one cookie. Back to Anne when she was, at the choreography and stuff, doing our weigh-ins. If we weren't within 3 pounds of our designed weight, like mine was 134, which on a 5'8" body, that's not very much weight, but we were young, so it was, and luckily didn't really, like some people develop eating disorders from this kind of thing. But what I did start the fast food, but what I also learned was what one little thing will do. Like our bodies are trying to be at equilibrium every day and regulate all the hormones, all the enzymes coming up for your food. All this stuff is happening that we don't have to tell it to do.
Yeah.
But when we eat something that's full of sugar or made of like toxic stuff, our body has no choice but to go like on the defense.
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to save her from this?
Yeah.
And so that's why we feel tired or bloated and we want to go to sleep after a giant meal. It could be all healthy food, but if it's too much for our body.
Yeah.
So this is what we do at holidays. We like go out, we splurge, right? We feel special, but then we feel like crap.
Yeah.
And Valentine's, might have some special time afterwards too. Who wants that when you feel bloated and like you need to go to the bathroom? Like that doesn't, sorry, but we're going to talk about some real things here.
I'm an adult. It's okay.
See, she is an adult, but I didn't say specifics. I'm not torturing you. So that's not what we're doing. But yeah. But it's a legit thing, right?
Yeah.
So we go out, we eat all this toxic stuff, and then we wonder why we don't feel good, or we don't feel loving and spacious in our body. We just feel bleh.
Yeah.
And it's because of what we ate. So is that special food? Is that really special, or is that leading us down to the opposite of what we really want, which is to feel good and feel happy and make choices that get us the happy, I always say the happy, healthy life of my dreams.
Yeah.
Like, how do I get that? That's what we wanted. And that's why we did these weird things with you guys, because I didn't want to take away those experiences, but those experiences didn't need to lead to more unhealth and crabbiness, because life's hard, man.
Yeah.
The more crabby you guys were, the worse my life was, vice versa.
I was never crabby. So in this episode, we're going to start a new segment called the mailbag, where if you have any questions you want to ask or if you have anything you want to know, you can send that to support@mybodybella.com. And so we do have a question today. It's from Brooke with an E. A little different than you.
Brooke with an H.
Brooke says, I am really motivated to live healthier, but my partner isn't. What can I do to motivate them?
Oh, God. Yep. That is a thing.
Yeah.
Clients come in with this one all the time because, when our body is unhealthy, it craves unhealthy things. We've got microbes in our gut that crave sugar when they're there. And if we're feeding it stuff that make them live more, then you're having imbalance. Literally, sugar is an addiction. It makes your brain really happy. So we think that that's what it needs. And sometimes we don't have control over that, mostly because we're not giving our body the healthy nutrients that it needs to not have sugar cravings. That's one thing we deal with in our program every day. So I would say to Brooke, it's so funny always when I say my own name, but I would say to Brooke, that's a toughie. You can ask your partner. I mean, usually our partners just don't understand the influence that having whatever, if they're eating, I hear a lot of chips at night. That's just the thing. We need something crunchy at the end of the day. If your partner's eating something in front of you that's not helping you, they want to help you. They want you to succeed. They just don't know that that's affecting you. But what I also find is that very often somebody's like, stop eating those chips. And then the partner's like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
And they're always trying to read us. And that's what partners do. We move over when we think we need to, and then we move in when we know we can. And sometimes we're wrong about that. But I would say just have a nice conversation before you're frustrated about it. Be like, okay, so I just started this thing. I want to eat healthier. I know that's my choice, not yours. So would you mind keeping those in away from me? I don't want to see them in the closet. I don't want to in the cupboard. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't want to see those because they're going to make me want those, and I'm going to feel really bad about myself when I eat them.
Yeah.
And then your partner's going to be like, totally, I get it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have a partner who's not as nice and kind about that stuff, and they're like, yeah, you should be able to get away with it. If you're on a program that gives you the food that you need, the nutrients you need for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, truly you won't have those cravings anymore. If you do, it's a psychological issue. And not that, I hate that word crazy, but it's not that we're crazy. It's just that sometimes we have a need. Remember we were talking about, I need a reward?
Yeah.
What if the reward is health and your happiness? What if every time we want to go for something else, we're like, oh, wait a minute, that's not getting me what I want.
Yeah.
Again, focusing on what you really want.
Yeah. So what is something, that was a great answer to that question. But so for someone who maybe is looking for a quick reward, they want that quick reward, and that's the sweet treat is the easiest thing. What would you say is kind of an example or something you would recommend for a quick something to be like, oh, okay, yeah. Okay. So for the crunch, you said chips. So what is an alternative that you would give?
Okay, that's an awesome one, and it's not going to be what you expect. If you stand up, go to the bathroom if you have to be alone, so that nobody's watching you go, well, what the heck? Running in place like that, you'd be so surprised at the results. So sometimes it's just distracting ourselves. And if we're trying to distract ourselves and telling ourselves, I'm not going to eat chips, I'm not going to eat chips, guess what you want more of?
Chips.
So if you just say, okay, I'm going to do this different thing, do burpees. Do something that moves your body. That will also move the cortisol that is going through your body because you're stressed out because you want the chips and you really don't want to eat the chips, but you want to eat the chips. It feels like that. So moving yourself out of the place that makes you want chips can also be, very effective. But there's so many things it's not just sometimes it's our physiology is used to having these things like an alcoholic. If you're used to drinking that sugary drink or that alcohol, your body's give that to me now.
Yeah.
But we don't realize, if you have a 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, Mars bar now, that's just your body saying, I don't have what I need. You better give that to me.
Yeah.
And, it's going to demand for sugar in ways that we don't want to eat it. So on Valentine's Day, hopefully we've given you some really good, useful tips to be able to just put the focus on that person that you love the most in a way that doesn't sacrifice your goals and how you want to feel in your body. Because it's totally possible. And if you have any more questions, make sure you send them to the support email because we're happy to answer your questions and take care of you in that way.
views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on the Thrive Beyond Weight Loss podcast belong solely to the host and guest speakers and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any associated organizations or health professionals. The content provided is for informational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider with any questions regarding a medical condition or health objectives.